If you want to know how to scale quality and community in the fitness franchise world, this is the episode you want to listen to. Welcome to Top Rated Gym, the podcast that helps ambitious gym owners build profitable and sustainable fitness businesses. I'm your host, Andres Vujovic, and with every episode, we deliver actionable insights, expert advice, and success stories to help you grow your membership, streamline your operations, and achieve financial stability, even if you struggled with the marketing challenges, operational overwhelm, or financial limitations in the past. Today, guys, we have Kamille McCollum. She's the president of BODYBAR Franchising. Kamille and her husband, Matt, are unique in that way that they were originally BODYBAR franchisees, owning 3 locations before becoming a franchise owner. So it's unique perspective being on both sides. They partnered with the original BODYBAR founders to help grow the brand and have since expanded to over 110 territories across the US. Kamille is passionate about maintaining, check this out, the high quality of the BODYBAR Pilates workouts as the brand scales, and ensuring consistent community experiences for members no matter which studio they visit. We're excited to have Kamille share her insights on scaling quality and community in the franchise fitness world. Kamille, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much. Great introduction. You just summed everything up so quickly.
We're about to start. Last time I spoke with you, oh my God, I was taking notes like crazy. It's like, man, that was episode on its own, right? I want an audience to, there's a lot of owners who struggle. It's hard to make 1 location, and then you take 2, and then there's this sense of letting go of certain responsibilities or trusting other people. And then you go to 5 and 10, and there's certain beasts of operations are happening. And then you're dealing with the owners and franchisees who are very creative, smart people, but also entrepreneurial, also by nature rule-breaking people.
Yeah.
How do you do it? How do you ensure the quality and consistency in your brand, BODYBAR Pilates workouts, and rapidly expand to all new locations?
Yeah, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. It's one of those things that I'm very passionate about because I fell in love with BODYBAR because of the workout. So for me, it is the ultimate, that's what we're selling. That's what our clients are coming to us for. But it is a challenge because you do have to release some of that trust that you and that ownership that you have and release it to others. Part of what we do at BODYBAR that I think helps hold the quality of the workout just holds it up to, we always say raise the bar, and we always want to be that way. And so it makes it where we can raise that bar is we have our own comprehensive certification that all of our instructors have to go through. So even if you have Pilates in your background, you still have to go through the BODYBAR Pilates certification. Right there, off the bat, they know the expectation of how our classes are supposed to be taught, what exercises they're supposed to be teaching. We do allow creativity with the instructors. They can plan their own workout as long as they stay within our model, which is really appealing to a lot of instructors because they don't want to be told exactly what to teach, but as long as they do it within our blocking system, then they can teach pretty creatively. But also that creates some challenges because if you let people get too creative, sometimes they go off the road of what we allow. One of the things that we really believe is important at BODYBAR Pilates is you have a studio manager, but you also have a fitness manager. And that fitness manager has close relationships to our education team. So they have monthly calls with our education team to make sure everyone is staying on top of the workout, staying on top of the quality of their classes. And then they go around, and part of their job for the owner of their location is to maintain that quality. So they're doing quality checks, they're taking classes, they're giving constant feedback to instructors so that instructors know, hey, you're doing a great job, or hey, here's some little room of opportunity for you. I think a lot of times business owners, especially in boutique fitness, they're so dialed in on the sales process. Oh, we have to sell memberships, but you can't sell memberships if your quality of instruction is not good. So having both of those managers manage the front of the house and the back of the house is what we say I think it really helps to hold our quality across the board. When I go to visit locations, I always take a class, and it has been really cool from Florida to California to Texas to Idaho, taking these classes and experiencing the BODYBAR method and BODYBAR class that I experience in my own locations.
Wow. Hold on. 3 things you already said. And I should tell everybody, write this down. First, what I hear is certification, unified standard. You have educational program. And how do you know when somebody learned it? Like, you can teach everybody in a classroom, but the way that you know somebody learned it is you test them.
Correct.
So you give them a test, and that provides certification. You pass the test, you get certificate. Don't pass it, go back to the class.
Exactly. So they actually have to submit the test out to HQ. So they submit a video of them teaching. And then our director of education and her whole department, they are in charge of watching those videos and then giving feedback and telling them if they passed or failed.
So it's not theory, it's a practical test.
Yes.
Don't tell me like respond to the form, fill up the questionnaire, and then multiple choice and guess the answers or copy the answers. Like, you literally want them to record. You want to see the behavior, body language, tonality, expressions, because that's the community. You
Correct.
want to hear and see something that cannot be expressed in the words.
Exactly. And you hit the nail on the head of community. So part of our instruction is also engaging with your client. So fixing form, of course, is part of that, but it also means encouraging and doing those things that helps really support. Not everyone wants to go and work out and push themselves and challenge themselves. People like me that are crazy, I love that. I live off of that. But there are a lot of people that don't, and you want them coming back to your classes. So how do you do that? You engage with them, you encourage them, you help push them through when it's really challenging and hard.
Wow. And how many times do you throw somebody back? Okay, listen, I wish I can certify you. You did 60%, but it doesn't match the standard. Like, where's your expectation? 70, 80, 90? What do you do in that case?
Yeah. So the actual pass rate, they do have to make a 70% or higher. I'll be completely transparent. I don't have the data of how many times we've had to say, hey, you need to test out again. You need to resubmit. But I will say, out of all of our instructor trainings, which we've had over 71 over the last year, trainings, which typically have anywhere from 5 to 12 people in those trainings, 90% of them have passed. So I don't know if it was they passed the first time or the second time, but 90% of them have passed. And we do charge if they say they submit a video and they fail, they submit a second video. If they fail again, then they have to pay to submit another video. So there's a little bit of, hey, make sure you know what you're doing.
Don't waste my time here, buddy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, wow, that's remarkable. I love that. And what's the best way you found to provide the training? Watch the video, attend the class, participate in the training, or what's the structure?
All of it. Yes, all of it. So we have online modules that they're required to go through that do have multiple choice answers, questions, little quizzes throughout the online modules. They observe. We have classes that they can view because BODYBAR is a new brand. So we have 47 locations open by the end of this year. So there's not necessarily a BODYBAR on every corner. So how can they observe classes? How can they know what our methods are if they're in a brand new location that's about to open? So we have classes they can observe online. And then we send a master trainer out to the studios whenever they conduct a training. And it's in person for 3 days, just intensive. Everything you learned on those online modules, now we're putting it into practice. Now we're hearing all the tweaking and doing all the things, like queuing and making sure it's all the same across the board. Our education team has pulled together about 10 to 12 master trainers that they travel all over. So it's a small size of people that are doing this training so we can ensure the consistency is the same across the board. And then they submit their test out. After they're done, they work with their fitness manager to make sure everything is great. And then after that, we do another virtual training about 6 weeks later to learn some more of our class formats.
Wow. And what about those edge cases where you have certain complaints, certain activities that are not part of 99% of the daily job, like how to handle dissatisfaction? What I learned in a couple of years ago from the conference is, what's the expected good quality service? Is it 90%, 99% or 100%? Because usually that 1% of bad experience create 99% of our problems,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
Like, how do you cover those edge cases?
Yeah, so we have continuing education courses that are provided for the instructors. So, yes, there's going to be an
Mhm.
opportunity where someone comes in with maybe an injury or they have something that they're like, I can't do this. You can't teach everything all they need to know in 3 days.
Correct.
How can we continually provide them with modifications? So, we have different courses that are online, but the fitness managers are also available to give these as workshops in their studio of modifications, special populations that come in. Like, how can you instruct a class with special populations in the room? Sometimes you have someone who just had surgery, they're released from their doctor, but they still they can't plank. Pilates, we do a lot of core work. And so, how can you modify for them? So, we have different education workshops for them available, but we also have the opportunity. We're actually rolling this out next year. Owners can invite master trainers back, not to do a full training, but to do a specialized workshop for them to come in and just continually raise the bar for our instructors, constantly making sure that they are learning and have all the tools and resources they need.
Love it. Guys, so far. So certification must. If you don't have certification, pause here. Like literally pause what you're listening now. Go back, sit down, put a note, make a meeting. Then I like that monthly ongoing because you see, that's a big difference between becoming good and staying good. It's good to great companies. It's what doctors are forced and are legally obligated and attorneys to have continuous education credit. Why you have to do this all the time? When your stewardess comes into plane, you don't see their check in, but they literally have to perform the test every day they start working. Like you gotta consistently educate people. You gotta consistently bring, because the industry changed, new things change, new objections comes up, new problems are surfaced.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
then reminds you on everything you already know. Like
Yes.
how important is that human touch?
And those monthly check-ins are great because you're getting to hear not only from our education department, but other fitness managers across the whole system. Peer-to-peer feedback is so good. And sometimes someone at one location might be struggling with, hey, I need more instructors and I can't recruit them. Where are you finding them? Other people have other ideas. And when you're hearing it from other people who are actually doing the job, it opens your mind to different possibilities. And so
It's
I think
collaborative environment.
yes,
Your
exactly.
brain gets inspired by somebody else's question, comments, and so on.
Correct.
And
Exactly.
then that last part that you said in the first introduction is, see, always go take a class. Boom. Think about it. You go in, and theory can be one. They might have a best day or worst day when they're doing tests, but if you go there and experience in life, it's a different game. Now
Exactly.
you can be a client in that studio, not just observer from the side of the screen. And
Yeah.
that's so critical because when you experience, I always say experience, belief is just pure substitute for experience. You go and experience and you can see I got a reference my gym when I work out. The new trainer came in and was totally different. I know my Jason guy is killing it. He's going to come, make me do more push-ups. He's going to make me do more workouts, bigger weight. He's going to challenge me. It's going to fix my form. But new guy came in and totally just like on the phone, rolling around the class, doing nothing. And one person is doing deadlift and it's totally in the wrong form. And I'm looking at the trainer, pointing hand in him, look at his buddy. And he was like confused. So
Wow.
the experience of the people is so important of your trainers and how they do it inside. And if you're not there, you got to find a way how to monitor it. And being in person, it highlights a lot of things that you might not see otherwise.
Exactly. And you pointed out we have 3 locations. So I can't physically be at every location all the
Yes.
time. And so, of course, I have my managers that are there, but you also build relationships with clients and they will let you know if someone is not teaching
Yes.
up to par because they know the expectation that we have. And as the franchisor, as owners are coming in and they're like, how do you know if the quality is always good and everything?
That's my question. Yes.
I say, have your managers make sure they're taking classes, their instructors take from each other, like making sure that we can be open to feedback from another instructor, always given with kindness and grace. But hey, maybe we were on our wrist a lot during that class. Some people are going to have issues with that. Always constant feedback. But then also know once you build the relationship with your clients, just like you at your gym, you're going to let someone know if someone is not fixing form or they're doing
Mm.
something that's not safe or not the Body Bar way. And so making sure you have that feedback community where people feel
Mm.
comfortable to be honest with each other. I always try to deliver feedback. If it's positive, negative, no matter what, I always try to give a positive, the sandwich positive, give some,
Mm.
room for growth, and then another positive so that you can make sure that they're hearing encouragement, but also what they need to hear whenever it's time to maybe have a little bit of opportunity to grow.
Have you ever asked members directly about NPS score, feedback, rating of the class, or something that's proactive thinking, and so you can have a bar to compare between all locations?
Yes. So we actually partner with a group called FitGrid, and they send out surveys. And we have automated surveys that, like, the first time you take an instructor's class, the clients have the opportunity to send a rating in. And then after about 90 days, if they take that instructor again, they'll get another email to survey the client. So we do those kind of surveys. And then we also do surveys just sporadically across the whole system, like how
Mm.
the clients are feeling about their studio. And that goes everything from instruction to the cleanliness of the
Yes.
studio, because we all know no one wants to work out somewhere where it's dirty, gross. And so making sure that it's clean and friendly. And we want to always have the best customer service.
Have you ever found any relationship between response or your feedback analytics and retention? Because that's where retention is.
Yes, absolutely. Across the board for body bars in general, we have a really fairly low attrition rate. The industry is about 12 to 15% for boutique fitness. Our last quarter, we were around 10% for the whole
Mm.
system overall, with some studios as low as 3.
Wow.
And so definitely seeing the survey results and then the attrition rates being low helps us to be able to identify, hey, this might be a studio that we need to maybe put boots on the ground on and go and try out, take some of their classes, make sure their environment is warm, because that is never us as the HQ level coming in to police people, but it's for the owner's benefit.
Yeah.
Like, we want to come in and give you our good feedback so that you're as profitable as possible.
You have very unique perspective because you know what it means being franchisee. And especially in the big brands, there's a conflict. It's almost like there are two different sides of the story. I want to do my stuff and corporate wants to do their stuff, and there's always disagreement. Now you understand what means being franchisee. And now you're presenting on a franchisor side, helping franchisees succeed.
Correct.
Did you find this beneficial or opposite in your role?
No, I think overall it's pretty beneficial. We tell people all the time, like, anything that we're rolling out as at the HQ level, like, my studios are doing it too. I'm hearing from my managers too. I completely understand. I do think sometimes franchisees forget that I do have 3 locations. They just see me as HQ and maybe not as an owner also, and it gets forgotten, and that's fine. That is what it is.
You have your skin in the game as well.
Yeah, exactly. But I think overall it is beneficial because I do still take classes at my locations. I actually still teach 2 classes a week. So I know what it is, what the feedback is from instructors, from clients, from managers. I hear it all the time. And so I feel like in some ways I am still like boots on the ground myself, even as president of the company, because if I teach a class and a client doesn't, maybe they don't like it, or maybe they have feedback for me, that's important for me to look at with clear eyes and be able to look and see, okay, what is it that we might need to look at differently whenever we're rolling things out? Because I truly am still doing every little aspect of the job.
This is a very unique perspective. I mean, you're one of the very rare people. And the whole franchisee and franchisor corporate is blessed to have you there on the board, being such a diversified in a view towards franchise growth. I want to ask you, how did you guys started with this process? Was this process from the start, or did you implement it half the way?
That was from the beginning. You had always, from the very beginning, had to have this body bar certification in order for you to be a body bar instructor. So that's always been from the beginning. Now we have improved that process. So before it was just a paper manual and in-person training. Now we have online modules. We have the continuing education credits. So we definitely have scaled it and continue to do so, continue to evaluate how can we scale this nationwide by keeping the quality the same the whole way.
Got it. And when you hire a new employee, new trainer, they all have to go through the certification.
Exactly.
They don't see that as a change. They see that as this is the process. I got to go through it. This is a part of the job.
Yep, exactly.
But there's people now listening who would say, oh my God, this is so good. They're so smart. But I'm already too late in the game. I have 50 locations. I have 100 locations. And my franchisee are so resistant to any change. Like they want to change a freaking software or billing, something that's
Right.
helping them. Like how the heck I'm going to implement now learning, certification, and ongoing education? Like how would you start if you're starting with some bigger brand?
Yeah, if I was starting this and I already had locations open, I would first of all probably ask a few of the locations if they could be our trial. Hey, can you do this? We are not going to make you pay for this training, but we would like for all instructors to go through it. Would you be willing to sign up for this? Have your instructors go through it? Tell them the why. Why is this important? This is important for the quality of instruction so that you are not dealing with the headaches that you might be dealing with. Let's get everybody on the same level. And if we test this in a few studios, then they get to be our mouthpiece to the whole franchise system of, hey, we did this. It worked for us. It was amazing. Now our instructors are all teaching on the same level. We absolutely recommend that you do it, and then let them be your voices of reason as you roll it out. But then giving them a date that it has to be done by. So for our certification, we do charge for that. We have to pay the master trainers. So maybe if you're rolling this out for the first time, as HQ, you eat that cost at the front end, and then going forward that you're going to charge for it and make your money back.
Good idea. And you can say, hey, first 20% of location who sign up to be certified are getting this at no cost. We'll eat the cost. So you get people to rush in. Then you get more case studies, more people on the board to be on your side.
Correct. Yep.
And then last 20%, does it have a deadline? Like now nobody can stay behind. Like we got to all sink in.
Yes. And if you're a franchise system, hopefully by about 50 locations or maybe around 30, you're starting to have a franchise advisory council. So we have one of those that anytime we have something new that we're rolling out, we have a group of 5 different owners that we first come and talk to them about it. And we say, hey, this is what we're looking at rolling out. What is your feedback? What will be the pushback? And we get different voices. They don't get to make the decision. We still make the decision, but we get to hear their feedback and advice so that we make sure we try to roll things out the right way. And then they're champions for the brand and champions for decisions that we make as we roll things out.
Wow, this is very, very beneficial. Honestly, my challenge here is when you implement any process, there's like development of the process, there's a rollout, there's education, there's follow by all. And at the end, there's a measurement. Knowing that you're doing the right thing. We already spoke about certain feedback in NPS. Is there something that you have in a spreadsheet or on a monthly discussion, the number that you keep your eyes on when it comes to culture?
I think for the most part, our member attrition rate is really what we keep an eye on, and just making sure people are not canceling, they're not leaving. And if they are, why are they? Is this just common moves? Is it seasonality? We have some locations in Florida, very seasonal, because you have your snowbirds that come down whenever it's winter and then they leave. And so you have to put all of those into account, but really keeping an eye on that, because if you start to see a major decline on your members canceling or a major decline on members signing up, but then also you have members canceling, that's like red flags going off. What is going on? And when we see that from an HQ level, it's boots on the ground. We're going to send our franchise business coach out there. Let's get out there and figure out if we can diagnose it and try to help that owner figure out what's going on in their studio.
And I'll tell you guys why this is so important. You see, my experience, maybe 5-6 years ago, I went to another brand, not to mention their name, because it's not easy to share some bad experiences. Right. And a friend invited me on a group workout. It was like high intensity workout and so on. So I went there. They knew I'm new. They put me on a new class. And I was so freaking impressed. I went there and it was out of my way, like 30-40 minutes drive. They used my name like 15 times. Love they that. Came to close. They showed me the exercises. They pushed me. They pulled me. They observed it. I told them I have a knee challenge at the time. They showed me alternative workouts. I was like, oh my God, this was absolutely the best experience ever.
That's great.
And then they want to sign me up. I was like, guys, I would love it. Thank you for demo. But now I know I wanted to experience this brand. I'm going to close to my location. That's 7 minutes drive from me. So I was already sold on the brand, culture, experience, and so on. I'm coming to a new brand, knocking on the door, downloading that free trial class again, getting in, and it was day and night. Oh my God. It was like My heart rate monitor was not working. The thing was like totally, people didn't care at all. Almost like Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Of course, I said, no, I'm not coming. It was totally day and night. See, people will experience your brand coming with a friend or something, and they will expect the same thing. You go to Starbucks, you take a coffee, and you get a taste, and you go to second Starbucks. Imagine if they have a recipe. That's what happens with me. That's what happens with your people. You have to have consistency.
Exactly.
It's if you don't have in your rules, or you got to use their name, you got to behave this way, you got to ask these questions, you got to treat them this way, you got to ask them to show up 15 minutes earlier so you can introduce them, set them up. Don't rush things over. There's a certain level of experience that you have to knock it off, because success follow clues.
Yep.
It's a checklist.
Exactly. Even the small things of the instructor has to be there 20 minutes before the class starts, because we have new clients that are getting there 15 minutes before the class starts. Like every little thing has to be spelled out. And that consistency comes from even their very initial training. The master trainers have an agenda where it is almost written out word for word, everything that they're going to say, because we don't want them to miss anything, or we don't want it to be one master trainer says it like this and one says it like this, and now there's a disconnect. It has to be dialed in so clearly like that. Sometimes can be, do I really have to say every little tiny thing? But yes, you do.
Right.
Because you can't assume.
That's right. I know so many stories in different brands when people will come experience the workout, experience the franchise, and then want to open the franchise.
Yes.
You want to participate. You guys have no clue how important is this consistency. That's what the brand franchise is all about. But also there's huge tendency of individual owners to modify this. We're all people, we think we know the best way. I was like, I'll just add this, or I'll take it out. This is totally sufficient. I don't need it. No. There's a reason.
Correct. Exactly.
Behind it.
And we do know every location we open, we end up getting someone interested in opening a Body Bar. We continually see this happen, which is exciting for us as a brand as we grow. But it's also encouraging because it means what they're opening and what they're doing is what we have told them to do. It's building that community. It's having excellent workouts. It's being friendly, having good customer service. And then we are like, our build out looks very high end. It looks nice. And so it's like having that quality across the board is just so important to grow the brand, but also to make our owners profitable.
There we go. Imagine if you have different colors at every gym or different designs.
Exactly.
No.
That can't.
Let's go extreme. This is what we're talking about. It has to be consistency. That's the key. But I want to ask you, somebody wants to do this and they want to learn more about it. Obviously, you breathe this. You eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're so confident in doing this. But where can somebody go to learn more about this? What would you recommend somebody who is on a journey to say, I need to tidy up my brand? Tell us about some either books or conferences or coaches or mentors or communities.
Yeah.
Where would you instruct somebody to go to?
Across the board, there's so many different conferences that when we started to go through this, we went to IFA, the International Franchise Association Conference, and met a lot of people there that helped us along our journey. I put a note on my calendar every single month to read the blogs from Les Mills, which is totally different from what we actually do as far as boutique fitness, but they're constantly producing educational material about. I get a weekly newsletter from Anthony Venari, is I believe how you say his last name. He's the Fit Insider. He does podcasts also, and he constantly making sure that you're staying on top of these things, listening to your podcast, listening to all the different people that have done this before. Everybody makes mistakes along the way. And so whenever you learn from their mistakes, or you just say, maybe I want to do it a little bit differently, and this is how we're going to be different. I think that's just really important to do. And using your time wisely. I go for runs and I'm listening to podcasts when I run. So I'm always using every moment of every day to educate myself.
Well, no extra time learning. Kamille, you just answered another important question that I didn't ask. It's like, how do you keep up? But see, when people are creating material, it's okay to create it one, but every month you have continuous education. Somebody's thinking like, how the heck do I come up with new ideas?
Right.
And I always remember shocking quote from the movie Catch Me If You Can, if you remember the movie.
Yes. Yep.
And it's like, okay, I understand you were able to pretend you're a pilot, being co-pilot. You were doing this and that, but how the heck did you teach at a Harvard University for a year? As a professor, he says the thing, says, all what I needed to do is to be one lesson ahead of my students.
Yep.
Like literally, I would learn a lesson and go deliver it. And
So
then you're perceived as such a high gap. You
exactly.
have to keep investing in yourself, reading books, attending conferences, reading blogs, listening podcasts, because sometimes you'll get inspiration and then you will, what? You'll raise the respect of your franchisees. You will build yourself as a credible, trusted resource. They will now think about opening second location with you or with another brand. What are you doing for them besides giving them business idea? They're doing personal development with you. They're
Yes.
learning from you and being a mentor. And that's such a huge value. Everybody needs to grow.
Yes, always. We always laugh, my husband and I, when people have to tell you I'm really smart, like they're probably not really smart. With your actions, with your words, you should be able to show that you're educating yourself and you're constantly trying to be a better person, a better individual, and really trying to show that to our franchisees, but then also to the employees that we employ and the clients that we teach. So it goes full circle.
Kamille, this was a spectacular. And I want to now just to address one question from the audience. They are
Okay.
looking into you. Now they're Googling your brand. Now they're looking like, what's going on? And people are looking to find more information. So how can people find more about you, your brand, your franchisees, your opportunities that you have working with you?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend going to our website, bodybarpilates.com. We have a tab on there on opening up your own studio, becoming your own owner, and you can fill out the form on there and we will contact you right away. Probably Rich or Shannon will be one of the ones that reach out to you. You can also follow us on Instagram at Bodybar Pilates. And I always tell people you're more than welcome to even reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. And we would love to talk to you about who BODYBAR is and see if it's the right fit. We are picky on who we bring on as owners because we want the brand to stay that good quality. So making sure it's a good fit. It's a marriage for 10 years of being a franchise owner. And we would love to talk to anybody about that.
There's no better way to get to know the brand than speaking with the people who are part of the brand. People who are not just there because they're hired from the third world. They're born and built and grow within a brand. For you guys who are listening to this, if you're interested in such a fast-growing brand like this one, who is extending, and I know you are selling territories like hot cookie expanding, so there's no guarantee that territory is even available for you. But check it out. We love featuring incredible brand. This is not sponsored listing. I was not paid
I
to
didn't
say
pay.
this.
Yeah.
And I just want to express appreciation for her and for you guys to find as well brand that you want to be participating in it. And for everybody else listening, you know what you need to do. Click share, like, ask questions. This is how we share this community. This is how we grow this community. And if you have a question for me, you want to either me to interview certain people or ask a certain question or answer a certain challenge you have, go to topratedgym.com and contact us there. I'll be happy to either host you or to answer the question or bring the guest you recommend. For everybody else, Kamille, you're the gem. You're incredible. Thank you so much for attending the podcast.
Thank you. This went by so fast. It was very enjoyable.
It flies. And looking forward to stay in touch and have you another episode.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andre.
If you are a gym owner looking to become a top-rated gym in your area, visit topratedgym.com and grab our free 30-day reputation boost. That's topratedgym.com. I'll add it to the show notes for you. Don't forget to share this with your friends. Stay strong, stay motivated, and keep pushing your gym to the top. Until next time, this is Andre signing off.